February, of course, is Black History Month. Today, we're shedding some light on health issues that impact Black and African American communities at higher rates. Specifically today, we're talking diabetes. Joining us is Dr. Kehinde Eniola. She is with the Cone Health Family Medicine Center to share practical, vital recommendations and information to help prevent and manage diabetes every single day of the year. So let's just start there at the basics. Why are Black and African American community members at a higher risk for diabetes? And then how concerning is it if they just kind of like leave it alone?
Well, Tanya, there are various factors that can predispose African Americans to having diabetes, one of which include biological factor. Also, socioeconomic factor is a big deal. Talking about biological factors, studies suggest that African Americans have increased risk of developing insulin resistance as well as obesity, both which predisposes them to having diabetes. Now, food insecurity is a big socioeconomic factor in this patient population, limiting their access to healthy meals that are rich in protein, low in sugar, carbohydrates, and fat. Economic disparity is also very important, limiting their access to physical and wellness centers where they can exercise to improve their overall health. Now, if diabetes is left untreated, Tanya, it can lead to severe complications that might impact their quality of life and also limit their life expectancy.
Okay, so let's kind of like break it down a little bit. For people diagnosed with diabetes, let's talk about maybe the top 3 lifestyle changes that they should prioritize to control their blood sugar.
I believe the top 3 that we should be talking to our patient about include healthy diet, regular exercise, and stress management. Stress, as we know, can increase serum cortisol level, which is a hormone that increases blood glucose levels, subsequently leading to diabetes. Now, our diet should include fruits and vegetables while reducing the total amount of carbohydrate and glucose that we have in our diet. Exercise is very important, Tanya. You know, the American Heart Association recommends that we have at least 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week. So these 3 lifestyle modifications are very critical and crucial in improving our health if we are diabetic.
All right, let's just tackle the food part, at least for this particular question. Let's talk about some affordable food swaps that diabetics can try to help manage their blood sugar. Everybody still wants to eat food that tastes good. So what can we swap that will be healthier?
So the first thing that comes to mind when I talk to my patient include fruits and vegetables. So thinking about your oranges, your apple, your bananas, those are affordable health choice that you can get at the store. Vegetables are very important. Broccoli, cauliflowers, your kale, all of those are very healthy. Always remember to incorporate or include proteins in your meal. We want to talk about eggs and beans. Those are very helpful. Now, one thing I want my patient to take away is if there's too much sugar, too much carbohydrate, too much fat, you probably shouldn't be eating them.
Okay, too much sugar, too much carbohydrate, too much fat. Do not be eating them. And there's probably lots of things in our pantry and our fridges that are like that. Okay, so exercise, you also said, recommended for managing diabetes. That can sometimes feel overwhelming to fit it in our schedule during the day. Are there some smaller, realistic steps that maybe we can start with?
Right. I mentioned earlier that American Heart Association recommended 150 minutes of moderate exercise per week. That sounds huge and unrealistic for most people, but I often tell my patients taking one baby step at a time is very helpful and also making exercise fun. So, for instance, after breakfast, you can take about 5 to 10 minutes of walk. Do the same during lunchtime and dinner. If you have a lovely music you like to listen to, tune it up and dance to music for 30 minutes. At the end of the day, before you know it, you have about 30 to 60 minutes of exercise for that day. Now think about doing that for 5 days in a week. That is a total of 150 minutes of exercise. So this sounds difficult to attain, but it's actually doable. We can attain it by taking one baby step at a time and making exercise fun.
I like the idea of just turning up the music and dancing around the house. Okay.
Yes.
When it comes to stress, let's talk about that. They raise the blood sugar. Stress raises our blood sugar levels. What are some ways to help us to manage that?
Funny enough, exercise is also very important in improving or reducing stress level. Exercise is known to trigger the release of endorphins in our brain, and endorphin is what we call the feel-good chemical. So you have it in your body, it calms you down and relieve that stress. Meditation is very important. Mindfulness and meditation, again, listening to music can be very helpful. Now, most importantly, getting that rest, 5 to 7 hours of rest per day, is very important. And I'll let you know, Tanya, family support can also help us improve our stress level.
Our families can.
Absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely.
We're going to talk about that family support and also when we need to go see a doctor. That comes up next after the break.